You know that feeling when you're scrolling through a dozen ice cream makers and every product page promises restaurant-grade results, but you keep wondering if you'll end up with a pricey countertop that just sits there, gathering dust? I get it, you don't want to waste money on something that looks great on paper but fails when you actually try to serve a line of customers or a weekend crowd at a family gathering. And you also want to be sure that whatever you bring into your kitchen or snack bar actually pays for itself, not just in the first month but over the whole season. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The VEVOR commercial ice cream maker is pitched as a high-yield, soft-serve machine that can crank out between 22 and 30 liters per hour, with a dual hopper setup and a 2-liter cylinder that's supposed to keep the product flowing smoothly. That sounds impressive, but the real question is whether those numbers translate into something you can rely on day to day, and if the machine's extra features actually make your life easier or just add more things to learn. Let's start with who this machine is really built for. If you run a small to medium restaurant, a coffee shop that wants to add a frozen yogurt bar, or a pop-up dessert stall that expects to serve dozens of soft-serve cones per hour, the capacity and the ability to switch between 3 flavors without a full cleanup are genuine advantages. The dual 6-liter hoppers mean you can have vanilla and chocolate ready at the same time, and the 2-liter cylinder feeds the product continuously, so you're not stopping the line every few minutes to refill. For a snack bar that sees a rush during lunch or a summer event with a steady flow of customers, that kind of throughput can keep the line moving and keep people happy. On the flip side, if you're an amateur hobbyist who just wants to make a batch of frozen custard for a weekend party, this machine is probably overkill. The footprint on the countertop is larger than a typical home-use maker, and you'll need a dedicated space for the pre-cooling unit, which can be a hassle in a cramped kitchen. You also have to consider the power draw. This isn't a plug-and-play unit you can slip into any outlet without checking your circuit capacity. In short, if you only need a few servings a week, the upfront cost and the space requirement may not justify the purchase. Now, about the practical strengths. The pre-cooling and one-click thawing system is designed to bring the machine up to temperature quickly, which can be a big time saver. In a commercial setting, you often have to switch flavors on the fly, and waiting 30 minutes for the machine to get cold again can kill sales. With a single button, the unit drops the temperature to the optimal range for soft serve, and when you need to change the base, say, from vanilla ice cream to a strawberry frozen yogurt, you can hit the thaw button and have the cylinder ready for the new mix in a matter of minutes. That kind of speed isn't just a convenience, it actually translates to more servings per shift, which impacts the bottom line. The LCD control panel is another feature that feels less like a gimmick and more like a practical tool. It displays temperature, timer, and even a puffing shortage alarm that warns you if the mix is running low or if there's a blockage. In a busy kitchen, those visual cues help you avoid the awkward moment of the machine sputtering mid-serve. I've seen other commercial units where you have to guess whether the motor is struggling or the mix is just too thick. This panel takes the guesswork out of it. One area where you might feel a hidden trade-off is the cleaning process. Because the cylinder is 2 liters, you have a decent amount of internal surface area that needs to be sanitized between flavors to prevent cross-contamination, especially if you're serving both dairy-based ice cream and non-dairy frozen yogurt. The manual recommends a thorough wash with a cleaning solution, but you'll still need to disassemble parts and let them dry before the next batch. That's an extra step compared to smaller, single-hopper models where you can simply dump the remaining mix and wipe the interior. If you have a tight staff schedule, allocating that cleaning window could be a bottleneck. Another practical consideration is the high yield claim. Producing 22-30 L per hour sounds massive, but it assumes you're consistently feeding the machine with a properly prepared mix and that the ambient temperature stays within a reasonable range. In a hot kitchen without adequate ventilation, the machine can struggle to maintain the set temperature, which may cause the texture to become grainy or the output to slow down. Some users have reported needing to adjust the room's cooling or place the unit near a vent to keep performance steady. So, the high yield number is realistic, but only if your environment supports it. Who should skip this machine? If your operation is seasonal, say, a bakery that only adds frozen desserts during a 4-month summer window investing.